Well, Brian, before we leave the land of La La over there in the Lollipop Guild's domain where nothing makes sense and it's Strawberry Fields. Before we leave there to go to the land of money-making opportunities, they've kidnapped the Rock and Roll Express. They didn't quite get away with it. They weren't able to transport them from the location in which that they apprehended them, but they did have them restrained in this was on Collision. And they were in Charlotte, North Carolina at they call it the Bojangles Coliseum now, but affectionately it was the old Charlotte Coliseum, the home of all of those great matches and sellout crowds for Jim Crockett Promotions. They have Ricky and Robert, the Rock and Roll Express, come to do an appearance, sign autographs, whatever, trying to get somebody in that building. I don't know if you've been Googled as to how many people were there, but the Charlotte Coliseum, even the old one, seats 12,000 for wrestling if there's that many interested to come. And while they were there, and tell the people I'm not lying, while they were there, they thought it would be a good idea, the folks in AEW, to have Dick the Boozer, the world's most dangerous plumber, and his band of merry miscreants kidnap Ricky and Robert and duct tape them with their hands behind their back to some cage or barred apparatus in the back of the building and have duct tape over their mouths like they were shooting Reservoir Dogs. And they're supposed to be immobile, and they look like they were pretty immobile. And it just pops up on the screen while, what do they call Cope and Dax and Cash? They're rated FTR, KO. What the fuck is their name?
I think it's, is it rated FTR? Is that it?
Rated FTR.
You know what someone wrote that stands for in the YouTube comments? I saw this was the most popular comment on that video. Find the remote.
Oh, yeah. I wish I could argue these days, but no. But so rated FTR are wrestling. Who the fuck were they wrestling?
Was it Jericho?
Jericho and his bunch. Yeah. That's right. And on the screen pops up the plumber doing a fucking promo in front of Ricky and Robert duct taped to this fucking apparatus. And then, of course, and the babyfaces won the match over Jericho and his throng. But they see this and then they run to the back and they are able to run the perpetrators off. And
well, after the Outrunners attempted to run in and make
I forgot about this.
And immediately got jumped from behind.
These two clowns waddle in from wherever the fuck they've come from, and they're trying to get them, and they get jumped, and they get the shit kicked out of them.
By Yuta and Marina.
Yes. Well, a jobber and a girl. Why wouldn't the baby faces have the shit kicked out of them? And we don't really know who it was or how many that immobilized Ricky and Robert, do we?
No, we have no idea.
So then the big baby faces get there and the other guys run off to the parking lot and then they chase after them and they're able to get Ricky and Robert unduct taped. And Moxley had pulled the tape off of Ricky's mouth one time and Ricky said, "You don't have the balls to, buddy." Which I could hear Ricky saying in a real life situation. And then he put the tape back on his mouth. Like that's okay. You can't get that shit to stick. A good kidnapping, you're going to use one strip of duct tape per mouth. Once you tear it off, you can't get it to stick again. Am I right, Brian?
I get it at the plumbing supply store.
It works underwater.
He took the duct tape off the senior citizen baby face, who instead of saying, let me go or anything, said, you don't have the balls. And he doesn't. He didn't do anything.
Yeah, he didn't do anything. If I only had time.
If you're going to do a kidnapping, imagine how big a kidnapping angle with the Rock and Roll Express in Charlotte would have been in 1986. But if you're going to do a kidnapping angle with them here now, and just try to get good TV out of it at least. First of all, forget about the idea that it's Moxley doing it or anything else, but do you do any kind of big angle like this in the last minute of the show?
On the Saturday night on a show that nobody watches. But it doesn't, because then this wasn't even really an angle, and it wasn't, like I said, it wasn't a kidnapping, it was attempted kidnapping. They didn't get to transport them. But they're in Charlotte. Rock and Roll happened to be there, and they just tape them to a fucking wall. There's no... And the baby faces save them. But it's not like... Now they're coming up, they're going to Knoxville. And I guess Ricky and Robert are going to be there. Maybe they're going to get even. I don't know, but if they... Because also, they've got the Knoxville Civic Coliseum. It seats 6,000 people, set up for a third of the building. They're only selling 2,000, trying to sell 2,000 tickets. So now they didn't even have a cliffhanger. Well, Moxley stole the Rock and Roll, and he's going to bring them back in Knoxville. You got to come to see the Rock and Roll in Knoxville. Come back, or are they going to come back? Or is he going to kill them? Throw them off the Gay Street Bridge into the fucking Tennessee River. There's not even anything to make the people in Knoxville. Let's go see how this is going to come out. And it was so phony. What is their mentality over there that this would do any good for anything?
The problem is, between Tony Khan and Jon Moxley, who has say in his stuff, and Rated FTR, who all have a say in their stuff, and FTR been a big part of everything on Collision for a long time. I don't know if these people have shown that they necessarily have the right creative instincts beyond what they think would work and what they think is cool. Sometimes you have to think beyond what you personally think would work, and you have to... I don't necessarily think we have any wrestling brainiacs in terms of logical wrestling booking or things that connect to an audience in that crew.
And I would have loved to have seen when they went to Ricky and Robert and said, well, after you guys finish signing autographs, you want to do a pre-tape? Oh, sure. Yeah, we're going to tape you to a fucking cage. And but as I said, they didn't even make off with them. There's no resolution to this. It's over with. But now they've announced that Ricky and Robert are going to be in Knoxville. Maybe they might be able to sell all of those, the rest of those tickets that they need to sell if the Rock and Roll Express are in Knoxville. But how this helped the issue, I have no idea.
Did they announce that they're going to be in Knoxville?
I saw it on Twitter.
Okay, I didn't see that, so I didn't know.
Well, somebody else was saying, well, they've kidnapped them, but they're going to be in Knoxville. I don't know what the fuck they're doing over there. Like you said, it was the last 2 minutes of the television broadcast, so... But it's not that far from Charlotte to Knoxville. They could make it by then.
January 4th, the Bojangles Coliseum, according to WrestleTix, 2,941 tickets distributed.
Ouch!
The previous time Collision was there... last year, January 6, 2024, 3,802. So it's down 23% from that.
Well, but that's a third of a house. It's down however many percentage from a third of a house.
SmackDown was there February 9th, 2024, 13,168.
And I don't think they were at that building. I think they were at the big place.
I guess this is just Charlotte overall.
Yeah, just Charlotte in general. Yeah, they couldn't have got 13 grand in the...
Yeah, that's the Spectrum Center, excuse me.
There you go. They built a new Charlotte Coliseum and opened it in 1988 that seated like 25,000 people for the NBA team that they got. And we had the first wrestling show there in September of 88. Midnight Tully and Arn and Flair and Luger, and we did 13,000 people. And now they've already torn that new Coliseum down and leveled it and built a new one downtown, but the old Coliseum is still operating. Sounds like somebody wasted some fucking money.
See, that's the problem with AEW, just talking about this segment, like I said before, and it could be any segment on any one of these shows. You have wrestlers with, at times, to certain people, unlimited creative input. At the same time, you have a boss who, when left to his own, is not able to produce wrestling that connects with people. He could produce matches that fans of moves want to see guys wrestle. But in terms of producing good, emotional American wrestling television, Tony Khan can't do it. And he's the sounding board. It's these guys coming to Tony saying, here's what I want to do. Oh, okay, yeah, that sounds great. Maybe we can incorporate the Pointer Sisters or something. I don't know. Like, that's what the fuck the meeting is. So that's the problem with AEW when people are like, oh, why are you so negative on everything? I give them credit when they deserve it, but you have to acknowledge the problem is that there is no creative backbone in the company. And I don't know who that would be. I don't know if there's like an option out there. But the point is, it ain't Tony Khan. And it isn't a Jon Moxley or a Mercedes Moné or a Young Bucks or any of these people who are booking their own thing. Because none of them seem to get it. They all have, there's a proven track record now. Years of television of guys doing what they wanted to do. It hasn't helped the company. It hasn't even helped the guys doing it. That's, I'll get off the podium now, ladies and gentlemen.
But I'll tell you what, these would be great indie shows if you saw it twice a year in your small 800-seat building. It'd be just wonderful for the indie wrestling fans, but it don't play in Peoria or anywhere else with any people in it for that matter. But you know, they can't sell, Brian. They cannot sell to people. I'm not talking about selling moves. I'm talking about selling tickets. I'm talking about selling personalities. I'm talking about selling stars. They're in the star business, and they can't sell no stars. I think they need a new platform. Don't you?
A new platform, not another platform like Max, but a new platform.
A new platform where they can sell off of, where they got people that are professionals that are selling whatever the hell it is they're trying to sell. I'm talking about the experts over at Shopify. Because that's what you hear, Brian. That's the sound you hear every time you're hooked up with Shopify. They just come into your business or storefront, or they come into your home if you work from home. And they just knock you out of the chair.
Virtually.
And they sit down there and they get to work and they start strong-arming people to buy some merchandise from you. And
that's
then you
not how this works. That's not how this works.
Over. They're saying they're bringing people in. They got one stationed on the street corner, and he's the one that's bringing them in. And once he brings them in under whatever pretense, then the guy sitting in your chair says, all right, rifle through his pockets, Sam. You got any money there, pal? How quick you want to go home? And boom.
No. There's no boom here, ladies and gentlemen. What Jim is trying to explain, what he would be able to accurately explain a little bit better if he actually was someone who used a smartphone, is Shopify's there for you. There for your storefront. You can sell your merchandise. They are a global storefront. It's easy to buy the merchandise or whatever you want from people. So it's easy to sell it, obviously. Yeah. And there's no storefronts, or no one's coming into your home. What else do we have to say?
No, you can have a storefront.
No one's mean.
You're allowed to have a storefront.
Well, you can, but Shopify will not have anything to do with that.
As long as you keep on the good side of the Shopify people, you have a bunch of storefronts because they're going to make you all kinds of money. Because nobody does selling better than Shopify. They're the home of the #1 checkout on the planet. By the time they get finished with your customer, they can't wait to check out and get the hell out of there. But they're going to leave behind some cash along with possibly some articles of their clothing that they've managed to shift off in order to get away quicker.
Once again, this is not how this works. It's a virtual partnership with everyone. They come in there and without any actual interaction physically with a single other human being, they are there to help you sell your merch.
We all need the common human touch, but I'll tell you what, you talk about interactions. You're going to have, I mean, we all need that from time to time, and they're going to put the touch on your customers. I'll tell you, way less carts will go abandoned. If they see somebody trying to abandon a cart over there on the median in the side of the parking lot, they're going to go over there and they're going to grab that cart and that person, and they're going to put some extra stuff in that cart to make sure that that person pays for it. It will not go abandoned.
You know, again, it's not even metaphorically. It starts metaphorically speaking, and then it just starts adding features that are not there. They will not be adding anything that's not added by a person into their cart, but they're there to make sure that when they check out that cart, all the items are accounted for and you get your money.
Well,
that's the Shopify way.
That's right. Your commerce platform better be ready to sell wherever your customers are scrolling or strolling. Or possibly, if they're fat enough, they might be rolling. Whether it's on the web, in your store, in their feed, and everywhere in between from their feed to your store, there's a lot of places in between to take and snatch these people and draw out some money. Businesses that sell more sell on Shopify. That's why you hear that type of thing. And you can upgrade your business and get the same checkout as all these multinational conglomerates are using. And some arms dealers on the dark web swear by this stuff.
No. We're talking about legitimate people, legitimate businesses, not anyone on the dark web or anyone selling anything that they're not supposed to sell without some sort of a treaty in place. We're talking about Shopify.
Yes, there's certainly a variety of people that have honest, upright, and upstanding fronts. But right now, you can sign up for a $1 a month trial period. If you don't believe what I'm saying, and apparently Brian doesn't, then you can find out for yourself how Shopify can help you make money and be a service to you and your business and your entire community, and it'll keep a lot of unsavory characters off the street. They'll all be in your home, working the phones to make you money. Right now, sign up for your $1 a month trial period at shopify.com/JCE. That's all in lowercase, that JCE. Shopify.com/JCE. You're going to get a $1 a month trial period for them to be able to show you that there's no harm in what you're going to do. People have the option of giving you money the easy way or the hard way. They don't want to extract it the hard way. They want to make you money over there at Shopify the easy way.
That's right. They are there for you. Shopify.
The common human touch.
Promo code JCE.
Yes, it is.
All right. Well, this is your show.
Oh, I'm sorry. I neglected to think about that.